I'm politically very interested in what's happening, and I used to read the 538 blog that was done by Nate Silver. He advertised for the Good Judgment Project. I was very steady. I answered as many questions as I could. I was consistent. I updated. I didn't let anything get forgotten. And I approached it like I was taking a test at school. Come in and maybe I didn't even study. So, but hey, it's not an essay test. So the choices are very clear. It's numbers, and I would read the question carefully and analyze whether this would hinge on a single factor or many factors. If it was something that I had a clear gut feeling right off the bat, then I would decide how much to back off from that extreme. And if it was something where I was really undecided at the 50-50 mark, I would force myself to a choice, because 50-50 is never quite the right answer. One of my hobbies is oil painting. So, and also when I've been taking the test, they tell me I'm visual spatial. So I think that may have made a difference. Getting the big picture and knowing when to zoom in to the details. Backing off and then zooming in. And not getting distracted by the wrong details. So I've learned in painting that you have a big canvas, you make broad strokes, but sometimes just the tiny nuance here or there changes the way the whole painting looks. And I think that's true in world events too, and why you need a lot of different perspectives. So that I love my news sources. I have my favorite ones, but when you get a variety and when you hear feedback from other forecasters, it really helps. I think maybe the big thing is just to be aware of what you know, what you can be certain of, and what you're not sure of. To know the difference between subjective and objective knowledge, what things can be measured and what things are a matter of opinion. Look at history, look at patterns, look at base rates, and then figure out whether your circumstance is similar or different. What was interesting for me is that most of the things I was forecasting on, I knew nothing about going in. Finance questions, for instance, I never pay attention to finance. But when you're forecasting on world currencies, you can always find graphs, historical charts, and I look at them and I see the patterns, and I say, why is it different now? Are we operating between the same extremes, or will it be new? And usually I've gone with stay with the trends. So I didn't let myself get intimidated by any questions, and I tried everything. And as Bill mentioned, some of the things where I actually was most hesitant on topics that I might have knowledge on, say on Ebola, because suddenly I do know, I'm actually more self-conscious about things where I might miss something that I should know. I think the tournament was great. You need to practice. So you need to have a lot of questions. You need to have feedback. You need to know where you're good and where you're messing up. If you have a team, if you have other people that you're in tournament, either in competition or in collaboration, either way, you listen to them, you get feedback, and you will improve. I use different words when I talk to myself now. I've always been very analytic, but now I start talking those percentages to myself, and that's different. I thought of the tournament like there's a scene in the movie Princess Bride where the man in black is facing off against the hyper-confident Vizzini, and they propose a deadly drinking game. And the line is, that we shall see who is right and who is dead. When we do forecasting tournaments, the timelines are always very precise, and many times in a season, well, you will be right or you will be dead. So I kind of enjoy that analogy. There were two big Ebola questions this year. One was on whether a single case of Ebola would make it to the European Union, and another question about whether the World Health Organization would declare Ebola contained within the countries that were most stricken, that being Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. Those questions were entirely different, even though they both dealt with Ebola. What mattered was different. For transmission outside Africa and into the EU, you were looking at healthcare workers and plane routes, how many people were going in and out, and you needed just a single case to set it off.